Every politician is elected on the promise of delivering welfare. But there comes a tipping point, and sooner or later, that point is reached first by those who elect and not by those who are elected. There is only so many toilets to be made, so many taps to be connected, so many bank accounts to be opened. And once they are, the voters need something more than the basic amenities. That time has come. That time has come for Prime Minister Modi to stop discrimination against 1 billion Hindus. Discrimination that is legal, social, educational and constitutional. To address this issue later would be too late. Quite possibly, it already is. If Modi's first and second terms were to save Indians, toilets, gas, tap water, loans, bank accounts, health insurance, homes, COVID vaccines, Balakot, the third must be one that saves India. And India cannot be saved if Hindus aren't. The Hindus do not ask for appeasement, they never have. The Hindus do not even mind if people belonging to other religions are appeased. All the Hindus ask for is that the discrimination carried out against them be ebbed, if not stopped altogether. Is that too much to ask? The proverbial Hindu Rashtra, a rhetorical, derisory reference to the dawn of 2014 coined by the left to guilt-trip Indians into believing that they were now living in a fascist state where Muslim rights were being stomped upon by brown-shirted, goose-stepping Hindutva soldiers, has just celebrated its 10th anniversary. 10 years of apathy and inaction, of prejudice, of constitutional and judicial discrimination, not against Muslims, but against Hindus. To those who claim we are now living in a totalitarian Hindu Rashtra, one must ask, what kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where 1 billion strong Hindus have been through our parliament, courts, education system and our constitution reduced to not just second class but rather 8th class citizens? What kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where Durga Puja and Garba celebrations are stoned with impunity, where a sitting Prime Minister claims minorities have the first claim to resources? What kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where Hindus are forced to be refugees in their own land, where one can resettle or settle 40,000 Rohingya Muslims but not 700,000 Kashmiri Hindus, the land's original inhabitants, where the judiciary says not once but twice that it is too late to prosecute those who raped, murdered and ethnically cleansed Hindus? What kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where Hindu temples are exclusively controlled by the state and Hindus must beg for waqf land to celebrate their festivals? What kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where the Right to Education Act discriminates only against Hindus and their schools, forcing thousands of them to shut down? What kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where genocidal monsters like Aurangzeb and Tipu are eulogized through state-sponsored publications, naming of roads and organizing of festivals? What kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where a law was about to be enacted through which only the Hindus would have been held guilty in a communal riot even if they were in a minority, for example in Kashmir? What kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where court judgments like the Sabarimala and legislative enactments like the Hindu Code Bill purport to reform only Hindu religious practices but dare not touch practices of other religions, and if they do, their decisions are promptly reversed like in the Shah Bano case? What kind of a Hindu Rashtra is this where the Places of Worship Act continues to deny Hindus their legitimate right to correct historical injustices, where the Waqf Act gives overarching powers to Muslims to declare a 1500-year-old Hindu temple to be on Islamic land when Islam is only 1300 years old? If this is how a Hindu is rewarded in a Hindu Rashtra, honestly, it'd much rather be in a Muslim Rashtra, because then at least there'll be no pretense of equality. A kafir will get what he deserves. Prime Minister Modi, I'm sorry, but all religions are not the same. Sarv Dharma Sambhav is a cool aid we and 1 billion others have been forced to gulp down for generations. It has guilt-tripped us into a downward spiral of self-loathing. Please understand, for India to survive as a plural, all-accepting land, Hinduism and Hindus must survive, and they will not as long as we have legislations that discriminate against Hindu temples, Hindu schools, Hindu rights, Hindu refugees and Hindu history. The Waqf Act must be abrogated, so must the Places of Worship Act and the Temple Endowment Act. Right to Education Act must be amended. Kashmiri Hindus must be resettled in the valley. Predictably, there would be millions who would oppose this, for they want discrimination against Hindus to continue. This is the means to an end that their religion demands from them in return for heavenly rewards. They will seed and sprout 1,000 Shaheen Baghs. They will block roads, light up campuses, write column yards here and abroad. Let them. You must stand up to them, Mr. Modi. This term, Narendra Modi, you need to fight for our survival, not yours. You need to choose dharma over coalition dharma. Will you? Can you?